Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We're about 6 minutes away from 8 o'clock where the Bonnaroo Song Scramble is coming your way. A chance to get 4-day passes to Bonnaroo, so make sure you stick around here for that. Now, yesterday, exactly at this time, we talked about the coyote that was pulled from the refrigerator shelf at an Aldi in Chicago, which I never thought I'd say those words on a radio ever again. I never thought it would ever happen. But that's what happened. The video's up at Q101's Facebook page. It's been watched millions of times now at this point. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But a lot of people yesterday after we talked about it said, well, what happened to the coyote? Good question. My brain just goes, you get it out of the refrigerator section by the yogurt and cheese, the way they dragged that poor animal out of there, and how he got in there, we still don't know. And you get out to the doors and you go, run free. Let's let him go in Humboldt Park and let him just run. That's not what they did, unfortunately.
By the way, thank God that's not what they did. What a terrible plan that would be.
Well, you just saw recently I Am Legend as your movie last Friday.
I did, yes.
A reminder that because Notre Dame is in the national championship game on Monday, Case will be watching Rudy this week on Friday at this time at 8 o'clock. So Rudy finally watches that movie and reviews it Friday at 8 a.m. So in I Am Legend, those wolves running the streets, they're the only things they kind of attack his dog, those really zombie
wolves.
The
most vicious thing I've ever seen.
It's terrible, terrible. Now, that wolf, I'm sorry, it was a coyote.
Please.
A coyote in the Aldi. Nice. Coyotes are pretty nice, I think. They might eat chickens. I don't know. They grab a chicken somewhere.
Well, isn't there a coyote that like blows down the little pig's house?
That is a wolf.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I apologize to the coyote community.
Yeah.
I did not know.
Yeah. Know your races of
cat.
Well, no, they're not a cat.
Are they cats?
No.
What's a coyote then? What species is it?
Dog.
I don't think so.
I know we sound really dumb right now. I know a fox and a wolf and a coyote. They're not in the cat family.
I would have thought they would all be in the cat family.
I think they're in the dog family. Well, I know that dogs are domesticated wolves.
Okay.
I think.
Because I don't know. I've never heard that before.
Dogs domesticated wolves. Yeah, that's what happened. I think because one really cool wolf came up to a caveman and said, like, why don't we just let him in the house? And that's what happened. Then we got dogs, and thank God we got dogs. They're the best things ever.
It made my life better.
They're really sweet and nice.
Okay.
Maybe we should just not go down that path. I'm trying to...
But are wolves related to coyotes? Are they cousins?
It's cool we have this screen in front of us I can type on. Are wolves related to coyotes? Yes, they're closely related canines, and often they're a common ancestor.
And canine is dog.
So canine is dog,
okay,
which is fox, wolf, coyote.
And now 630 just checked in, and he said, my fiance has chickens in Naperville, and they have to watch for coyotes.
Yeah, coyotes, I think they like chickens because they can take them.
Well, because who doesn't like chickens?
Chicken's good.
Yeah.
Chicken's delicious.
Hey, it doesn't matter what race you are, what religion you are, whether you're human or coyote, chickens are good.
Have you ever had buffalo fried chicken?
It's pretty damn good.
Damn good.
They've got a whole wing restaurant based on that.
My take was that a coyote looks at a chicken and goes like, well, I'm not going to lose that battle.
Yeah.
Even though they peck.
He's not picking on somebody his own size.
No. So can we move on from that now, you think?
Everybody on the text line thinks that we're trying to rage bait people and that we were intentionally sounding stupid.
I wish that was the case.
We could say that.
Yeah. They're dog.
I honestly, hand on a Bible in front of the Supreme Court, thought it was a cat.
Good Lord.
It's a shame Kenzie's out sick today. She would have put us in our place.
Sure. Well, the coyote was taken by the Flint Creek Wildlife Rehabilitation, which has locations in Chicago and suburban Barrington. The rehab center said that one of its volunteers picked up the coyote from the Chicago Animal Care and Control, even though the police are the ones that took it out of the refrigerator while the animal control people watched. And then they brought him to their facility. He got there about 7 p.m. on Monday night. Imagine that. You're in Humboldt Park, and you're in the refrigerator section just kind of looking, hey, there's all this food around me. I can eat this cheese, this yogurt. You get yanked out by some cops, and you end up in Barrington, like 40 miles away.
That's tough.
Now, Barrington, beautiful city.
Beautiful. Love it.
Love it. And if they can find him a nice home up there, I'm sure he's like, man, I won the lottery.
Brian, tell me if I'm wrong. If I go too far here, you tell me.
Great.
I don't feel like the Barrington community would be super receptive to a coyote. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, it's rural up there. There's a lot of places to run free. There's, reserves up there.
Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. I just feel like, the Barrington community at large, probably not also super coyote friendly.
You've gone too far. You asked me to tell you you're going too far to speak for Barrington. You live in Uptown. You can't speak for Barrington people.
I see you, I hear you, I'm listening, and I apologize.
Yeah. Well, before we get to this Bonnaroo song scramble, so the coyote's safe and in a rehab facility in Barrington. I want to live in Barrington. Like a coyote got up there just by jumping in the refrigerator section. God, it's terrible. I'm renting right now. I'd love a house in Barrington. But CBS 2 had a report that we found interesting describing the situation that happened. Of course, Monday, we talked about it yesterday, Monday night. But here is CBS's report on the coyote.
It was a wild encounter this morning at the Aldi store on Kenzie when two Chicago police officers armed with brooms and their own two hands.
Somebody says there's a wild animal in a grocery store. And the cops go in, and they only with their bare hands and a broom. We have no other utensils to get a coyote out of there.
You tell me a coyote's in a grocery store, I want to make Bazooka Joe look like a pacifist. I'm coming in there lock-stocked with a barrel, ready to fight this coyote.
I know our tax dollars go to buy a lot of equipment for the police. This is the time to use it. I'm not saying kill the coyote. I'm just saying just something. Put a tank through the wall to get the coyote out of there. I'm using that tank. If they say, Brian, there's a coyote, you got to go get it. Give me the tank.
It is crazy. They have tanks. It's weird they went with bare hands with a broom to this mission.
A broom? A broom? All right, let's continue the story.
Watch out, guys. Watch out.
Pulled this coyote by the tail out of the produce section.
It was quite a surprise.
Liza Lair saw the video circulating on social media. But since she is the assistant director of the Urban Wildlife Institute at Lincoln Park Zoo, she says it's not a total surprise.
The colder temperatures.
Should we stop there for a second?
It's not a total surprise.
A coyote was in the cheese section in an Aldi in Humboldt Park.
And the animal expert was like, yeah, checks out.
Yeah, well, this happens all.
Why are you guys talking to me about this?
It's not reported often. It's kind of like the scooter deaths in the city. It's probably quelled by the mayor, so we don't know about it. So there are a lot of coyotes, but here she continues why it's not a surprise.
A total surprise.
The colder temperatures. We don't see human activity really as much, out in our parks and in our natural areas. And so that's kind of the time where a lot of different wildlife might be a little bit more active.
Now, Animal Control says that the coyote was uninjured. They also suggest that you keep your pets on a leash and you do not feed them. Also, if you do encounter one, make sure you make yourself big and yell, never run.
Make yourself big and yell.
I'm already pretty big, 6'4.25". I'm down below 240 now in this weight loss challenge, but I'm still pretty big. How can I make myself bigger?
That's a great question.
Stand on my tiptoes? Does the coyote sit there and go, I'm going to take him, and then I stand on my tiptoes? He goes, whoa, that guy's too big.
Outside of the used car lots, they have the inflatable wacky arm thing.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have to look like that to scare off a coyote.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for head-to-head lines. We have compiled 2 of the funniest headlines of the week. We've narrowed it down from hundreds of headlines we've looked at. You decide the content of the show based on the headline alone. Remember, choose wisely because we will never talk about the other story again. Both these sound pretty good. So you text in 312-591-8300, headline 1 or headline 2. Let's get to the headlines. Headline number 1. China basketball star suspended for smuggling girlfriend into room in suitcase to do, quote, homework.
Oh, that's what they call it.
The suitcase part is what gets me. Because did she trust him enough that he would unzip the suitcase? You understand?
Oh, that she thought he just might kill him?
Correct.
You know what? It does take a level of trust in your partner to get in their suitcase.
My brother locked me in a closet, one of those very small closets, like a towel closet by the bathroom.
Oh, you had towel closet money. Interesting.
Well,
some people's towels are just all over the place.
6 people using one bathroom. Yeah, we had that big money. But he coaxed me into saying that he'd let me look at his Mad magazine if I did that for a minute.
Just Mad Magazine got you? Not even like Penthouse?
Sometimes the drawing on Mad Magazine was very, very provocative.
Very seductive.
So I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7. I didn't know what Hustler was yet.
Thank God, by the way.
So I agreed to the deal, and he locked me in the closet and left the house, and no one else was home. My point is, I'm not getting in a suitcase. There's not one person on earth I would trust to unzip that suitcase.
If I told you, hey, we're going to play a prank on Kenzie, but you have to get in the suitcase, would you get in the suitcase?
All kinds of nope.
Interesting.
Nope, there's no way I'm getting in a suitcase.
Now I know where your loyalty lies. Good to know.
I don't trust you. I don't trust anybody in that situation. I'm trying to think of somebody, who's the most trustworthy person on earth?
My first thought was Morgan Freeman.
So was mine. Brian, I want you to get in that suitcase. It'll just be like when we were back at Shawshank together. Yeah, Morgan Freeman asks, I'm not getting in the suitcase. Don't trust him. Anyway, that's headline number 1. If you want to hear more about that, text in headline number 1, but not before you hear headline number 2, which is man accused of stealing Hot Pockets from Michigan store was eating Hot Pockets when cops found him. Okay, that's headline number 2. I got a lot of questions on that one as well. So, again, headline number 1, China basketball star suspended for smuggling girlfriend in the room in suitcase to do, quote, homework. And headline number 2, man accused of stealing Hot Pockets from Michigan store was eating Hot Pockets when the cops found him. 312-591-8300. Whatever you decide, we'll break down. We'll never talk about the other story again. It's Head to Headlines with Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Head to Headlines. You choose the content of the show right now. We gave you 2 headlines, and you decide which story we break down. The other one we'll never, ever, 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 ever talk about again. So choose wisely, and we'll add it up for you on the text line. Headline 1, headline 2. You text in 312-591-8300. So, headline number 1 was China basketball star suspended for smuggling girlfriend into room in suitcase to do, quote, homework. And headline number 2 was man accused of stealing Hot Pockets from Michigan store was eating Hot Pockets when cops found him. Now, I'm not saying it was a landslide. I would say 2/3 to 3/4 voted for headline number 2.
I think that's a safe assumption. Good math there on the fly.
I think the first headline tells you what happened pretty much. I think we know what homework was. You know, quote, homework.
Use that voice again, Eeyore.
Homework. I think we know what that was. But I don't know. We'll never know. Maybe the guy actually really cared about his studies because after basketball, it doesn't last very long always, and you got to, have a job, a regular job, and need to know stuff. We'll never know because we're never talking about that story. Instead, we're going with man accused of stealing Hot Pockets from Michigan store was eating Hot Pockets when cops found him. I can't tell you how chock full of goodness this story is, and you have to wait till the end to hear his answer on why he stole the Hot Pockets.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Okay, really have to stick around for that. So here we go. Man accused of stealing Hot Pockets from Michigan store was eating Hot Pockets when the cops found him. This is from Highland Park, Michigan, not Highland Park, Chicago. And I can tell you this story out of the gate is terrifying. A man accused of threatening to shoot store employees who caught him trying to steal Hot Pockets from a Michigan store was eating Hot Pockets when police went to arrest him, according to court records. No idea a gun was involved with this.
I don't mean to be provocative, but I think we can all agree that that is bad.
Thank you. Very good. And also, it's not a high-ticket item. I thought stealing a Hot Pocket and eating it would have been nearly a victimless crime.
That's where you're wrong. No such thing as a free lunch. Every crime has a victim.
I'm not saying steal Hot Pockets. They are worth every dime of buying them. So what happened on January 4th this year, 2025, around 10 a.m., a man named Daniel Hudson went into the Dollar General in Highland Park and began stuffing Hot Pockets into his pocket. No pun intended there, court records say. What employees told police? When an employee confronted him, Hudson is accused of taking the Hot Pockets out of his pocket, grabbing a container of chicken wings, and yelling at employees. Now, not quite sure. He decided to steal something else? I don't know. The chicken wings are certainly delightful. I didn't know Dollar General had chicken wings, by the way.
No disrespect to Dollar General, not where I buy my chicken wings.
Well, you have good chicken wing money this year. Past year, good year.
Yeah, Jewel Osco's got some wings, too.
Oh, they're delicious. Okay. So I don't really understand what happened there, but that's what the man did. That's what court records say.
Well, I think his logic was, I'm not stealing Hot Pockets. I have chicken wings. Checkmate, Your Honor.
But aren't both bad if you're stealing them?
Well, he could have just had the chicken wings. There's no attempt of theft if he's just holding the chicken wings. When you stuff a Hot Pocket in your pocket, that is attempt of theft.
But when you're jittery and you pull those out of your pocket.
Being jittery is not good.
And that's what happened here, because when he did that and yelled at employees while doing this, he allegedly showed off a gun that was in his coat pocket, threatening an employee that he said, quote, would blow his head off. Not the quote doing homework from the other headline. He said, quote, I will blow his head off. The manager told Hudson to leave and called police. Both employees told authorities that Hudson was a regular customer at the Dollar General.
Oh, that's tough.
And he knew where Hudson worked. He had a job. The guy that stole the chicken wings.
The guy that had the gun, the Dollar General employees knew where he worked?
Yes, they knew. Also, fascinating that he's a regular at the store and then decided to steal Hot Pockets at the store he goes to all the time.
But you know what? In college, I went to the same Dunkin' Donuts almost every day, and I would steal. I shouldn't have admitted this. I would steal from that Dunkin' Donuts.
What'd you steal at Dunkin' Donuts?
I disagreed with how much their soda costs. I thought it was too expensive.
Okay.
And their soda fridge was next to the door that you would leave out of. So I kind of did a take a penny, leave a penny, but I would just take a soda on my way out, but then I was gone from the store. They wouldn't know. I was a poor college kid. Give me a break. Statute of limitations.
I'm not giving you a break. So, wait, you took it out of the fridge and just walked out and no alarm went off or no one chased you?
No alarm. We're in the city of Chicago. An alarm went off because I took a soda?
There was no airport metal detector on the way out of the Dunkin' Donuts?
It's Dunkin' Donuts. Fine establishment. But no, there's no security measure there.
That's terrible.
They eventually moved the fridge from where it was because too many people were doing that.
The guy doing inventory every night's like, you're 7 Cokes short.
He's sweating bullets. He's like, the math's not mathing. What is going on?
If I move the refrigerator... I bet you were really pissed when they moved the refrigerator.
I was irate. I used to steal from here. Now I can't do that.
Don't steal, please, especially from Dunkin' Donuts.
It's bad.
Or Dollar General. Okay,
Anywhere.
so they called the cops, and a regular customer. So officers went to Hudson's workplace. Since they knew where he worked, they knew him. When they go to the workplace, well, they found him in a joyous position. Sitting there in the break room eating Hot Pockets, the ones he just stole. There's the evidence. There's the Mona Lisa. He stole it. No, it's just a pepperoni Hot Pocket.
Did it say what flavor it was?
Not yet. We'll see if the story tells it later on.
Okay, because I hope it's a meatball. That's my favorite.
The meatball's good. They have the pizza type, right? Like the pepperoni sausage.
Well, I think most of them are based in the pizza realm.
So then officers found a 9mm pistol on his backpack during the arrest, which shows he was not joking about blowing anybody's head off. Authorities learned there was no record of a gun being reported stolen, but that gun was registered to a different person. Meaning, did he borrow a gun to go steal the Hot Pockets or just walked around with a gun all the time of somebody else's?
Yeah, tough to say.
So they reviewed his arrest. They went to the dollar store and all that. But here's the part that I said you need to stick around for on why he did that. Because he was a regular. He stole Hot Pockets. He didn't need to. He had a job. He could have bought the Hot Pockets. His reasoning was this. When he went in the store, there was no clerk around. So I just started stuffing Hot Pockets in my pocket.
He might have vindicated himself here. It's a complicated legacy. I don't really want to take a side, but if there's no clerk around, why would you not stuff Hot Pockets in your pants?
I'm telling you, don't do that because there's cameras around everywhere. They're going to find you no matter what.
And
I
Big
think
Brother's watching. You know, we can't even steal Hot Pockets anymore.
Stealing is bad, okay? So don't do that, even if the clerk isn't around. But that was his answer, that there was no clerk around, so I just took them. And that's when things went awry, of course. He also, court records show, he told police he shot the firearm once behind a liquor store nearby, but no one has any record of that at all. So he just threw in all the way. By the way, I've shot this gun before.
And by the way, for those asking on the text line, this story is not about me. I want to make that very clear. Everybody thinks this story is about me. That's fair.
He faces charges of being a felon in a possession of a firearm because apparently he had a record going on.
Who would have thought?
He also told, by the way, that the firearm was a BB gun. He told him that, too. I think the cops know what a gun is, which one. And there you go. We'll follow when he goes to court and what happens to this poor, poor guy who at least he got to take a couple bites of a Hot Pocket.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 with your music and entertainment news. Well, some significant stuff has dropped as far as we've had a lot of concert announcements coming up in several months in 2025. And some big ones, of course, happened. And Nine Inch Nails alluded that they're going to have a tour. Now, they did tweet this out. Since some tour dates and information about our world tour have leaked, we are confirming that, yes, we will be touring and provide more details soon. We are all watching the devastation that's hit and unfolding in California and have paused our announcement while people try to deal with all that is happening. Because, there's been a lot of ripping of people that have gone on like everything's normal with all of Hollywood burning. And a lot of musicians live out there, of course, or a lot of people that have the power in the music business. And a lot of pausing. Yeah, it's fine if we wait a week or two to find out where Nine Inch Nails is playing in Chicago. It's not drastic.
It's exciting that they're playing, though.
That's stoked.
Good news. Yeah.
I actually haven't seen them in a while. I've missed the last couple times they've come around, and I love so much my memory of Nine Inch Nails at the Congress Theater back in the day, which allegedly is reopening. There's been some money put toward the old Congress Theater. I don't know. That information came out in 2024, but then it goes silent. It goes dark, and then we never hear about it again. Amazing venue back in the day. So Nine Inch Nails will be touring. No Chicago date. What we do have is a Chicago date.
No Chicago date yet.
No Chicago date yet. Correct. They are coming. And we had yesterday Coheed and Cambria and Taking Back Sunday announced August 19th at Northerly Island. More shows coming and announced about Northerly Island coming in. Man, you can keep up on Q101.com with all of this.
Isn't it exciting that as we sit here and talk right now, it's 5 degrees outside, but we now have summer tour concert announcements that are starting. Like We're going to get through it. It's going to be okay. It's cold right now, but we're all going to be at Northerly Island before you know it.
I thought you were going to pull out, we're all in this together.
Is that a famous quote?
That was a big time during the pandemic. We're all in this together.
Unprecedented times.
Yeah.
Our company cares about you.
Yeah, listen, and we do.
Yeah.
But
we do.
A lot of other people didn't care about you. No, we care about you a lot.
No, but it's so exciting to have these summer tours announced. This is a great show. Coheed, Taking Back Sunday, and then the opener, and I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the opener.
Oh, boy.
It's a band called Foxing. And if you like Taking Back Sunday or Coheed and Cambria, I got news for you. You're going to like Foxing. The thing with this band is, if you ask music critics, people that write about music for a living, they'd be like, Foxing is the best band of the 21st century. No one is on their level. They're the greatest thing to ever exist. Of course, when they headline shows, they play to like 400 people. So the word hasn't really gotten out there about the band Foxing, but they are opening that show. They are awesome. That's going to be a great time at Northerly Island.
So the next time that band comes around and they sell out the Metro, all those fans will say they, quote, sold out and they're not cool anymore.
I would love it if Foxing would sell at the Metro. I don't think that's going to happen. Again, great band. Some of the nicest guys in music. I've never heard anybody say a bad word about them. Nobody else has gotten the message that they're great other than people paid to write about music.
So, to give Case, the producer, some props here.
Okay.
He was the first one to tell me about Turnstile about 4 years ago.
That's right.
He certainly introduced me to Knocked Loose as well in the past year.
Yep.
He certainly is first on all these bands more than anybody else in the city. So remember, you heard about Foxing here first on the show. So when they sell at the Metro, you can say, I knew about them when they were in grade school. You can say that and be cool and keep your street cred up because Case told you about Foxing.
There you go. Well, summer concerts, I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready for all of that. Tinley Park, Northerly Island, get me outdoors, get me in a park somewhere, give me some music.
Well, we've already mentioned, the Rise of the Roach tour with Rise Against and Papa Roach in Tinley Park. And, of course, August is already jammed with Lollapalooza at the beginning. And at the end, you've got Oasis at Soldier Field. You've got My Chemical Romance the next day at Soldier Field. Then you get a day break. And then Sunday and Monday of that weekend, System of a Down, 2 shows at Soldier Field.
Good Lord.
We're not going to get out of it. I think the earth ends at the end of August in 2025. At least Chicago's going to fall in the lake. We're all just going to fold over and just fall in.
You might as well end with System of a Down.
Oh.
That is, in a way, System of a Down is our Titanic band. They will play as Chicago craters into the center of the earth.
Going like, wake up! It won't be quite the violins on the Titanic.
A little different.
Finally, TikTok is reportedly scheduled, we've talked about this for months, to immediately shut down Sunday if the U.S. Does not unban it. So basically the Supreme Court said it will be banned and it will go down. I just feel like this isn't getting talked about and maybe no one cares out there because I feel like if it was maybe a different platform, if it was Instagram or Facebook, it'd be talked about a little more. Now, a lot of people make a living. A lot of our listeners, we know about this, can make a living on TikTok doing various tasks. And I worry about them. I worry about them losing their income. Now, they say if a U.S. buyer comes in last second, swoops in, it will stay open. For example, I've heard that Mr. Wonderful on Shark Tank is putting together a group of other billionaires to buy it.
Yeah, the bald guy.
The bald guy.
The older bald guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love Mr. Wonderful.
Well, he's mean.
That's why I love him. He's real. He's honest. If Mr. Wonderful bought TikTok, that would be incredible.
So, Brian, maybe you can explain this to me, and if not, I'm sure somebody on the text line can, 312-591-8300. TikTok is going away because they're owned by a Chinese company, and what? We don't like the information that they have on us?
Well, they're mining your privacy information through TikTok all the time, and things that you share, by the way, the people that you are a friend with, if you want to call it that, or you're following with, they aggregate all of it, allegedly. Now, we don't know exactly what's going on. The funny thing is they say if TikTok goes away, they've recommended new apps to jump on, and they're all Chinese-owned.
That's super funny.
So why don't we just keep TikTok? I can't make a new profile. I'm done making profiles. I'm tired of it.
You're out of passwords.
I'm done.
So, okay, so I understand that. And this is where if I'm out of line, if I'm incorrect factually or in your opinion, you tell me. But if we're worried that China is allegedly mining all of our information, isn't our government doing the same thing to us? Don't they have everything? Aren't they listening to our phone calls? Why are we concerned about China? We should be looking in the mirror. I don't understand.
Well, because our government doesn't provide us with really cute dance videos. And TikTok does. Well, we care more about TikTok than our government taking our stuff.
Oh, my goodness. Where is the stimulus plan that gives us $600 a month in cute dance videos on demand?
Listen, there's a lot of nice stuff on there. We'll pour one out Monday morning if TikTok's gone. I've also heard Mr. Beast is putting together a group possibly to try to buy it Elon Musk's name, but he's already refuted that, saying that's not true, which means it's probably true. I don't know. It's wild, but it could all come to a big end on Sunday. We'll pour one out for TikTok.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and time for a fact that makes your brain go. We do it every morning at 6:30, and sometimes we recap them now, and that's what we're doing with this one because it really blew up, went viral across the internet. Not really, it didn't do that, but you guys liked it.
It blew up on the text line.
It sure did. And 46% of employees, that's pretty much everybody listening, half of Chicago doesn't know this about their workplace. And we had a lot of people guess. What do you got on the text line, Case?
Somebody, Hillary from Rogers Park, she guessed that 46% of people don't know the phone number of the place that they work at.
Wow. So I don't know our business number. I know 312-591-8300.
Do we have a business number?
I think you can call us like in business form.
And do what?
And maybe say, hey, I like Brian and Kenzie, that show. I'd like to advertise on that show.
Oh.
Maybe businesses should, by the way, because we do deliver results.
And by the way, if you text into 312-591-8300 and you want to do that, I can give you somebody's email that you can talk to because I don't know that phone number.
Do you even know the email?
I know the email.
The only reason you know is because it fills it in the blank if you start putting the person you know.
Yeah, it's their name.
It's their name.
But I know the guy.
Okay.
I know the guy that they should talk to.
It's our guy, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's how we'll do that from now on. Don't call our unknown business number because I don't know who's going to pick it up.
I don't think anybody would.
So the answer to this question today, or this fact that blows your mind, is 46% of employees in Chicago don't know what's clearly expected of them at work. They've never really been explained their job. I mean, you get the interview, there's a job description, and you get there, and all of a sudden you're hired, and before you know it, you're working a job, and no one really told you what you're supposed to do. And this clearly hit a chord this morning with a lot of our listeners. 708 checked in and said, I work at the jail at 26th in California. I've been there. I bailed somebody out there, by the way. Rough scene down there. And he said, I think to myself all the time, how the hell did I get here working at the jail? Listen, we all have jobs and we need them. That was Will, by the way. And you know, some people's jobs are just jobs. Some are passions. But at the same time, you still sometimes don't know how you got where you are.
I wonder about that all the time because all things considered, you know, it's a lot of work to have this job and to keep this job, but I've had things pretty easy because my entire life I've wanted to do one of three things: either be a talk show host, be a baseball announcer, or be on the radio. And I got one of the three.
Is that right?
Yeah, those are the only things I like.
Well, my whole life, I play guitar. I wanted to be Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
I'm a space nerd. I wanted to be Neil Armstrong.
Okay.
And of course, with my jump shot, I wanted to be Michael Jordan. Radio was not in the scope of what I wanted to do.
Oh, funny. I always thought it was.
No, I just ended up here.
Okay. But a lot of people just end up places. The thing I referenced this morning was we have this great concierge staff at NBC Tower. They sit at a desk all day and they direct people to consulates and they tell people how to get to the Q101 lounge. But how do you end up doing that? And what are the expectations? What makes somebody a good concierge and a bad concierge? How would anybody judge that?
You need to talk to the people and ask how they got there.
But I don't know any of their names.
No, that's the rub. You can say, hey, you.
Hey,
You know what?
hey, big guy.
You know what you should say? Hey, pretty lady. 708 checked in, by the way, and says, I have a master's in curriculum and instruction. I teach at a credit recovery class, and all the kids are working independently on the computer, so I just wander around and read books. He got a master's degree, this guy.
But all he does is read books every day.
I mean, he's probably pretty happy.
I guess. Yeah, I guess that'd be nice. I'd love to read more books. You, by the way, have not read any books in 2025, have you?
So we started a book club on Friday nights. And
You and your wife did, not me, to be clear.
Correct. I have the Alex Van Halen book, Brothers, I'm going to read. But the problem is the last 2 Fridays have had excellent college football games. So we're going to move on from, this Friday I'm going to read, is what I'm going to try to say.
Jay checked into the text line 708. He said, I work on automatic doors like at Jewel Osco. He said, I don't know what's wrong with them sometimes, and I just throw random parts on them. What we've learned today is that society is crumbling before our eyes.
Actually, I think it's working very well for most people out there because I've always said, act like you're supposed to be there and no one will question you. And clearly, in this case right here especially, people do that and everybody's got to eat. Everybody needs to make money and somehow it's working. Somehow he fixes some doors and some don't get fixed.
But isn't every door the same?
I don't think so.
But if I see, I would think if I was going to open up a supermarket, right, a grocery store, I would think I go to the supermarket store where you get items for the supermarket.
Yeah.
And you go, I'm going to take the doors. Every store has the same door, I would think. And then also, where do they get the refrigerators that the vegetables sit in?
Don't tell me that you're not going to, next time you go to Jewel, walk in and look at the door and see if there's some weird extra part sticking off the door.
There's like an axe.
I pictured like a faucet from a sink. It's just attached onto it. I don't know. Well, listen, keep doing what you're doing if it's paying the bills and getting you food. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And Lauren coming in, take you through the rest of a pretty sunny Wednesday it's turned out to be. So tomorrow will be warmer, too. It'll be at 25 degrees probably by the time we start the show at 6. Ticket Blitz Thursday tomorrow. Off the top of my head, I don't know what Ticket Blitz Thursday is.
It's your guys. They blew you away at Twisted. Who was it?
Some 41?
No, they did not.
Oh, no, wait.
No,
Wait.
not.
That's Riot Fest. My
Yes.
bad. Dexter and the Moonrocks?
Franz Ferdinand.
Oh! Okay.
8 o'clock, Brian will be trying to win Ticket Blitz Thursday so he can go see Franz Ferdinand.
They are so, for a band that's big, they are underrated still. They crushed, and you might argue they stole Twisted. You might argue that.
I would argue that.
So good. All right, let's get to our takeaways. Yours from the show today with Brian and Kenzie on Q101 here. What do you got, Case, from the listener?
Jim, the garbage man, checked in. His takeaway, his New Year's resolution was to lose weight, but experts say he needs to be fat and loud so he doesn't get attacked by coyotes.
That's all science right there. It really is. 219 checks in and says, takeaway, Kenzie can't take days off because when Brian and Case are left unsupervised, they try to do irresponsible stuff like buy snowmobiles and semi-trucks without a CDL or experience. Well, we hope Kenzie's in tomorrow. Case got her sick because he doesn't wash his hands.
That's not entirely accurate.
Somewhat. Wash your hands, everybody.
I don't wash my hands as much as you do, but I still wash my hands.
But you don't do it enough, so Kenzie got sick.
It's my fault.
Her baby got sick, too. That's on you.
I've never seen the baby. Well, I've seen the baby. I've never been around the baby. I've seen photos.
Well, the germs transferred from you to her and then her to the baby, and it's your fault. Wash your hands, everybody.
I apologize.
Okay. What's on the podcast?
Well, today we found out a lot more information about Aldi Coyote. If you want an update on the coyote that was in the Aldi yesterday, we have that for you on the Brian and Kenzie podcast. We also have a shocking update on Brian's possible snowmobile purchase. If you missed that in sports today, go back and check that out on the Brian and Kenzie podcast. A super fun day today. If you miss us, if you need more of us, if you want to share the show with somebody you like or love or hate, but you want to brighten their lives, the Brian and Kenzie podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.